The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
And this is the Magic Mike Show, episode 477. Mr. Somich, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Woodbine, huzzah!
What are you laughing about?
Your open there was different than every other. What's up, everybody? I'm Magic. I was expecting more.
That's usually what I say, isn't it? Now you got me second guessing what I've been saying for 477 episodes.
I don't know. We'll have to go back and listen to a couple, see if that's the normal intro.
Well, good to see everybody here. All the usual degenerates in the chat. Good to see everybody here. We're tackling Woodbine, and you must be degenerate if you're watching this. And we're going to Woodbine. You know, this is how I wanted to spend my July 4th weekend, Mike, was, Independence Day weekend for us in America. And, yeah, we're going to cover Canada. So, thank you.
Well, I really don't appreciate all this slack I'm catching from you on this. This is clearly the best sequence, and after actually handicapping it, I'm even more certain this is the best sequence of the weekend. Like, this is going to be a lot of fun, and I don't like one of the favorites. I'm going to try and beat her. A little spoiler alert there. And this is fun. It's 20 cents. It's a 20-cent denomination. We can spread a little bit more. We can get a little more aggressive with some of the longer shots we like and still have cheaper tickets. Try and hit something big here. So I like it. I don't know why you're so angry about this.
No, I'm just kidding. It's just different. But it is, with this case, we do have 4 of these are going to be graded stakes. That last race can go jump off a cliff. The maiden claimers in for $10K. Yeah. If you can afford it, just go all in that. Like, I might actually just do that with my ticket. I didn't know how expensive to make it. I ended up with, is this a 20-cent denomination? It throws me off a little bit. Like, I have my budget that I try to stay in with my pick 5 when it's 50 cents. But when it's 20 cents, I guess my question for you, Mike, is do you still go within that same budget, even though it's with a 2.5 times fewer base, your payouts might be 2.5 times fewer?
Well, this is a little different for me because I generally play bigger tickets than what we give out on the show here. So for me, I can actually handicap this like a normal pick 5 that I'm playing, and it can still be inside the cost that we're trying to keep it for the show. So instead of putting $108, $120, $135, $144 ticket out there for 50 cents, I can play this for 20 cents and keep the overall ticket cost down, but still use the horses I want to use and be aggressive where I want to be aggressive and look for bombs where I want to look for bombs. So I like this kind of structure for this specific show because you can end up playing what I would consider a more advantageous pick 5 without busting the budget either.
Gotcha. All right. I wanted to ask you that. I wasn't sure. I ended up going pretty short. Mine's $24. So I also have a smaller ticket just in general. But yeah, this will be an interesting one. If you're watching us live, thanks for joining us. Make sure you leave your thoughts in the live chat. If you're watching on replay, put your ticket in the comment section below, especially. We don't play Woodbine that often, and so we'd love to see if you've got something good. Hopefully, Mike and I have got at least one winning ticket, possibly 2. We could both hit this one. Looking at what we both have here, let's get into it. Woodbine Saturday, July 1st, the late pick 5. Riders up! All right, here we go. My first leg of the Woodbine Late Pick 5 on Saturday, July 1st. Race 7, the Grade 3 Celine Stakes for 10 3-year-old fillies routing a mile and a 16th on the synthetic main track. Where'd you go on top?
Well, I'm going to start by just saying why I am going to completely fade the 6 here. So I'm going to try and get around Wonder Wheel and not use her at all in this spot. Specifically because I don't think last year's 2-year-old crop was very good on the fillies side. And we've seen that consistently back in all of these races, that the horses she was beating have been awful. We talked a lot about Chop Chop last year. Chop Chop isn't good. We talked about, well, we didn't really talk about Leave No Trace. So Raging Sea was another one that we talked about. Raging Sea's not very good. And Wonder Wheel hasn't really progressed from year to year. She's going to be overbet here at 6-5. So for me, this was all about, okay, how can I get around Wonder Wheel and try and get some of the prices home here to be able to really blow this thing up early, especially with the ticket size I'm looking for. So I avoided using her altogether. I ended up with the 3 on top. Honor D Lady here. This is one of the horses that's shipping in for Saffie Joseph. Had a nice run last time at Woodbine, at Gulfstream Park, but has run well at Woodbine in a grade 3 as a 2-year-old. This is going to be 3rd in the 3-year-old season for her. third off the bench here. She's shown good synthetic form. She sits close to the pace, but doesn't need to be on the lead, which I think will be advantageous here in this spot. I like the price at 7-2 because I think she should probably be the favorite in this race, not the second choice. So I'm happy to put the 3 Honor D Lady on top.
Top pick for me too. Love this horse. Never off the board in 5 starts. 3 of them on synthetic. You had the Mazarine race was a grade 3 last year over the same course and distance. Thought it was a good effort there. Yeah, no, I think especially last time out had no shot. The winner of that race went gate to wire. Was always at least a length and a half clear of second place, and second place just ran in that same gap back to third. So the only horse that closed in the whole race. Yeah, I went here. I ended up using all 3 Saffies. I went 3 deep here, and I just was like, you know what, I'm going to use all 3. And I legitimately like all 3 of them. It's not just because they're from Saffie, though I did notice a pattern here with this race. Second for me, number 8, Blind Spot at 6-1. I have a little bit of a blind spot when Saffie's training a horse, especially if Irad's on one, but he's not on one in this race. So, or at least he's not at Woodbine, I don't think. But Blind Spot, 2 synthetic starts, 2 stakes wins, 1 time routing at Gulfstream Park at age 2. The other time was sprinting here at Woodbine, so you've got to win over the course, going 6 furlongs back in April. Just like the 3 horse, you've got third start off the layoff, third start at age 3 here, so reasons to improve here from the 8 Blind Spot. Did you use her?
I did not use Blind Spot. This was the one that I left off that I'm a little scared of. Clearly a pace threat, maybe be just sitting off it. I'm going to try and get around Blind Spot, but I respect the horse. This would be my 6th horse in. I decided to go with a price instead of going with the 8 here, and so we'll see if that comes back to bite me.
Where'd you go for your second pick then?
Give me the 10 Solo Album. This is another Cassie, so I'm going to go with the stablemate of Wonder Wheel here. This one just broke its maiden, but she looked very good doing it, set the pace, was able to take the field gate to wire with a rather slow pace. The horse who ran second became a next out winner there. I like the jump forward when getting back up to Woodbine. All 3 of, in my mind, her best races have been at Woodbine, specifically that November 19th effort as a 2-year-old and then coming back off the layoff and winning last time out. She's shown the ability to not need to go gate to wire. She's been able to sit behind pace and pass some horses, obviously just breaking her maiden, hadn't won before. But at the 15-1 price, I think she sits a pretty good trip here, and second or third is able to get first run, see if she can be good enough to get home at a big-time number. For my third pick, I went to the other Saffie horse. So I have the 5 Be My Sunshine in here. This horse, I thought, ran very well at Keeneland last time out. Hasn't tried the synthetic yet, but I don't think that's going to be an issue for her. It's a Tap It on top, Kitten's Joy on the bottom. Kind of is going to need to improve a little bit, but has a good late closing kick. Shouldn't mind the distance at all. I think it's all systems go here for Be My Sunshine.
Yeah, I like that Kazushi Kimura is going to be riding this horse as well. Kimura is one of the most talented riders at Woodbine. We saw what he did at Santa Anita, right? He almost won the Santa Anita Dam Derby on a Japanese horse. You got to like that this horse, all 3 of the starts that she's made, they've all been 2 turns going a route of ground. She was always at good spots. As soon as the Gulfstream Championship meet ended, they went to Keeneland with her, and she almost won there. She is going to need pace to chase. So if you use her like we both are, you've got to believe that there's going to be some pace and at least an honest pace in here for her to close into it. And then, the question mark is about the synthetic, but she has an older half-sister named In the Mood who won 3 races at Turfway Park, including a stakes race on the synthetic, and she was second in a grade 3 on the same synthetic there. So the breeding on the dam side says she should be able to handle synthetic, no problem.
I'm going to go with a couple bombs as my last 2 horses in here. So you're going just the 3 Saffies, right?
Yep.
I am going to go with the 1 next. 45.70 here. 20-1 on the morning line. I'll be shocked if this horse actually goes off at 20-1. Has been bet down below 4-1 in every single start, except for the Maiden Breaker and a $251,000 stakes race restricted for 2-year-olds. And that's one of the reasons I'm playing this horse. If you go back to that race where she was 23-1, that's the only time she's gone a mile and a 16th. She ran very well there. Ended up getting a 72 buyer that day. Was able to close from off the pace, but sat relatively close. Was only a half length or a full length back at the 6 furlong point of that race. Back-to-back races here as a 3-year-old. Goes 7 furlongs to kick off the season. Takes a nice step forward in that second race. Now we're going 2 sprints to a route, stretching out, getting a big number, and again has tactical speed in this spot. I wouldn't be shocked if it's more forwardly placed than what we saw last time going that mile and a 16th, because she's been faster in these last 4 starts than she was prior to going that distance. So I think you're going to see the 1 horse here, 45.70, get a really good trip on the rail and be able to kind of make that run around the far turn. And if she's good enough, I think she's got a shot. And if we can improve off that last mile in the 16th race, she fits with everybody else in this race at a big time number of 20-1. Did you consider the one at all?
I think she's a good horse underneath. She didn't make my ticket, but I don't hate it, especially at 20-1. You got the pride of South Africa, Ryan Munger, in the saddle for the first time as well. So he does much better than the trainer Barbara Minshaw is doing right now, at least.
She's 10%. He's 13. It's not so bad. Don't be hating on him. All right, I'm gonna go with the 9.
Is 13 not better than 10%?
That's about what?
Tell me when I'm telling lies. Next point.
Fair point. 30% better, I guess. Tito's calling. Give me the 9. I'm going to go with a big shot here again, 20-1. This is a horse we're going 2 sprints to a route again. This one, when Emma Jean Wilson rides, has won twice and run second twice. Again, I like the setup here for this horse. Going to be coming from a little bit closer than what we've seen the last couple races, specifically because we're stretching out from that 7 furlong distance out to the mile and a 16th distance, getting a monster price. And I'm trying to blow up the tote here in this first race. And this is the horse I put on over the 8. So this was the last on for me, and if you want to put the 8 on instead of the 9, I get it. I'm trying to take a big-time swing here to try and start the sequence out with a big price, because if we can get around the 6 and get a price in this race, it blows up the entire sequence.
If you hit this pick 5 and you have Tito's Calling on your ticket, you're going to be going to the bar calling for some Tito's vodka with this horse. Not a terrible one. Last time out, I looked at this horse in that 7 furlong stakes against Ontario bred, so definitely a step up here. Was a gate to wire winner for Cassie. The other horses that finished ahead of him, ahead of her, were also coming from off the pace. The horses that were like second, third early, they all threw it in. So it's an effort that looks better than it really, if you watch the replay versus what it looks like on paper there. So I don't hate it as far as long shots go.
That was racehorse time too. I mean, there's not often that you see a 3-year-old state bred, in this case, state bred Ontario stakes bred stakes go 122 flat for 7. I mean, they went 45-4, 109-2, 122. I mean, that is fast for 7 furlongs.
I did find it interesting. We both are, and I kind of expected this. We're both going against the 6 Wonder Wheel here. Realistically, she's 6-5, I guess, based off of her back class at 2. But is she really going to be 6-5 in this race, Mike?
I think so. I mean,
because of Cassie.
Well, not just because of Cassie. I mean, Husbands picks up the mount. Patrick Husbands, who's the good Husbands there, right? Where Cassie takes usually his best horse. But even like the Suncoast, probably good enough if we can get back to that and no one improves. So like you can point to at least one race on the page. But again, the horses that she's losing to, and she's lost badly in the last 2 races. And I get they were better company and it was on dirt, but like she's also never started at over synthetic. She's never started at Woodbine. So we're doing something new here. You're taking a really short price. I don't know if she wants to go gate to wire, if she wants to try and pass horses. I'm not sure what trip she's looking for. She's not in form at all. So you're just assuming that you're going to go back to that previous form. And I think she's probably like 4-5 when they break from the gate, which just seems ridiculously short to me in this spot.
Yeah, if you're going to use her, you've got to go very short in this spot, in this leg, I think. Maybe if you want to use like a bomb with her in case, but otherwise I wouldn't go more than 2 deep. She is a first-time Lasix. She's never been on Lasix before, so if you want to point at something that potentially moves her forward along with the synthetic, is maybe the first time Lasix does. But yeah, Mike and I are both going to try and beat her here. Second leg of the Woodbine Late Pick 5 on Saturday, July 1st, race 8, the Grade 2 Highlander for 10 males 4 and up, sprinting 6 furlongs on the outer turf. Where'd you go on top?
Give me the 4-horse Macedo here. I'll go Cassie again, but this time with Husbands, the good Husbands, Patrick Husbands. That last race really impressive. And there's a bunch of pace to chase here, so I think it sets up well. I like the fact, too, that the last race was at 5 furlongs. This horse has won at 7, ran, I thought, pretty well for the first time in North America in Kentucky Downs going 6. And that last race was off a long layoff. We're talking a full year in between races. Still was able to jump the buyer way up. That was first out as a 4-year-old. You'd expect some improvement here, second out as a 4-year-old. And like I said, there is pace for this horse to be able to sit the perfect trip here in like 4th or 5th and be able to pounce. I would love to get 5-1 on this horse. I'm not so sure we're that lucky.
Top pick for me as well. So yeah, we're probably not going to get 5-1 on this horse. You gotta love that you got Cassie and Patrick Husbands. You just talked about him last race with Wonder Wheel. Top connections here. So they're third straight start they're going to be with this horse. It's it would be nice to see this horse actually put together back-to-back starts. He hasn't done that since June of 2021. So it's refreshing to see how well he does off the bench. It's like shit. If he's that good off the bench, how does he do when he actually can build up some endurance and get into a form? So, yeah, we agree on the 4 was the top pick. I went 2 deep here. You went 3 deep, and we both agreed. So on the number 2 Outlaw Kid at 3-1, since this horse has been gelded, 3 for 4 in turf sprints, all of those wins by open lengths. His lone defeat came in his stakes at Aqueduct. Second off the layoff, second start at age 4. Yes, this is a grade 2 race, but it's a grade 2 at Woodbine against a lot of Woodbine horses. And I think bringing that New York allowance form, I think it makes him very seasoned, and he's not going to be intimidated here. Don't love 3-1. I do love that the 10 is in here to take a bunch of money, though.
Yeah, I mean, this Son of Violence looked awesome last time out. And, if you've been watching Belmont, and specifically turf sprinting at Belmont, everything George Weaver sends out is absolutely flying home right now. I mean, he has been, and Cancel has ridden quite a few of his big price winners, specifically 2-year-olds. His turf sprinting training is up there right now with like the Wesley Wards at Belmont, which is wild to think of because it's George Weaver, but they've been that good. This is one of those horses that ran phenomenally well. Now you're getting second off a layoff here at 4 off a career best effort. It seems like it's all systems go. This one has tactical speed, but still is able to close if we're a little bit off it. Love the fact that the 5.5 furlong maiden breaker at Saratoga was sitting a length off in third. You come right back. That allowance, you're sitting 3 lengths off in second, 3 lengths off in third, able to win by 4. This horse is really tactical from a speed perspective. I think it's all systems go on the 2 Outlaw Kid. I would have just gone 2 deep if this was a 50 center, but because it's a 20 center, I'm going to throw the 8 Striker in there as well here. Josie Carroll sends this one out. Kimura gets them out. Second off the layoff here. The last time tried to go gate to wire going 6 furlongs. They went very quick up front. I'm hoping for one of those little off the pace style trips that we saw. And this horse broke its maiden and won second out, sitting off the pace, going 6 furlongs and 6.5 furlongs. I'm hoping we get more of that type of effort here from Striker, and I think Striker's going to be forwardly placed and have a big shot here. Again, second off the layoff for a 5-year-old son of Warfront. Carroll's a very, very good turf sprinting trainer, one of the better trainers up here at Woodbine. You get Kimura up, and you're getting a nice price here at 12-1, which I think is probably going to float up from this. And so this is the bomb that I'm going to try and get home here. I looked at the 6 Oceanic as well, but I decided to go with the 8 Striker.
Yeah, I looked at both of those horses, didn't make the ticket for me, but I actually had them in that order as well, the 8 and the 6. I don't hate it. The Damn Dreamologist won the, I think, grade 3 La Cienega Stakes, which is a turf sprint. It's Santa Anita. So Ellen J. Foxwood, homebred, they always have very good horses that they send out, and they usually spot them well. Like this horse, originally with Bill Mott, and then they went, or no, not this one. There was a different horse we were looking at in a different race. But they'll sometimes, like the really good ones, they go to Bill Mott, and if Mott has them and goes, this isn't my level, Josie Carroll gets them, and she usually does really well with them, especially at Woodbine. So don't hate this one. I think it also part of a reason to like the 8 over the 6, Mike, is you're getting 12-1 here versus 6-1 on the 6.
Yeah, and Oceanic just seems like one of those horses that likes to sprinkle in good efforts every now and then, but we haven't really seen any of those since the effort back at Colonial and Keeneland, the back-to-back 100 buyers we saw from this horse. The last 2 races I thought were pretty bad, specifically the grade 2 turf sprint at Churchill Downs. So I'm willing to take a shot here against Oceanic in that spot. And then One Timer on the outside is the one we haven't talked about that we probably should. Been a very good horse. You're going to see Larry Ravelli try and have One Timer go gate to wire. Totally possible. At the 5-2 price with the outside draw, to me, this is when you try and get around.
Well, if you look at his races, I remember this horse ever since he won that San Anita Stakes race, and he freaking smoked him on the turf there. When he gets the lead on his own, he's gone. But when he doesn't get it, when he has to fight for it, when he has to work against other really good horses, he doesn't manage to do it. And I think between the 1 and the 9, and even possibly the 8. You could see a lot of pace in here to mess it up for him. So at 5-2 with that outside draw. Now, if he had drawn the rail, you might want to single that horse because he's going to go.
Yeah. Now, the outside draw, I think, is going to be trouble for him because it's going to be hard to clear. And if he doesn't clear, then that's where the problems come in, like you said. Chris
Morales says, wow, Old Chestnut is still running. I had the same exact response. I remember when this horse was winning stakes races as a 2-year-old at Woodbine, and I was like, God, that was... By the way, go ahead.
I semi-considered Old Chestnut in this spot. Like, I wouldn't hate using this horse considering the way the pace sets up and the trip you should get.
If they rain it off the turf on the synthetic, I think he's better on synthetic these days.
It's fair.
Shout out to Chris Milo, by the way, became a dad again. Had his son Jack born, so congrats. He's reporting which hospitals do have DRF blocked and which ones do not have DRF blocked. So if you need that information, go to Chris Milo. But yeah, congrats, Chris. Got a son named Jack. He was really sad that we didn't go to Ellis Park because he was going to make sure we had to play Happy Jack.
There we go. Well, you can still bet them if they run. I mean, who knows if they're going to run or not with all the weather that's going through there too.
It's a good point. Third leg of the Woodbine Late Pick 5 on Saturday, July 1st, race 9, the Grade 3 Dominion Day Stakes for 9 males, 4 and up, going 1 1/8, 2 turns on the synthetic main track. Where'd you go on top?
Oh, give me the 6-horse Treason here. We're going back to Josie Carroll and Kimura. I thought ran really well last time out in the Grade 2 Eclipse. That was a really impressive win. It was wide on that I guess first turn or the second turn there. I don't think the extra 1/8 of a mile is going to be much of an issue here. The race 3 back was absolutely phenomenal. Got a 101 buyer and just looked like an absolute beast. Now you're getting second off a layoff. Son of Constitution here. Spitestown on the bottom. Likes the synthetic, likes the distance. Don't love that we're taking a 2-to-1 price here, but we left off the favorites in the first 2 legs, so I'm fine with putting the favorite on top here.
Yeah, I almost singled this horse. When I remembered it was a 20-cent denomination, I was like, okay, well, I don't have to be like super crazy here. I can still go with another pick in here. But by the way, the returning from that 210-day layoff beat 4 horses easily that show up here. One of the horses that doesn't show up here that he beat is Wolfie's Dyna Ghost. Like he beat a bunch of horses that are here, and then a really good horse on synthetic in that spot. So yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Not bad at all. Now you ended up going 2 deep here.
Yep.
I looked at your horse, but I didn't use it. So you went to the inside Golden Glider. You want to make the case?
Yeah, this is a rare case where Doc's on my side and not with you. This is an interesting one. This horse has got the synthetic debut last time out, but it was 187 days ago. It was a Tropical Park Derby, so it was against 3-year-olds. This is his first time facing older horses. But he beat a bunch of good turf horses in that race. You had Steady On, Grand Sonata, Dakota Gold, your former Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf betting favorite. This horse is going to need some pace to chase, and that's the reason I kind of used him was like if Treason wins, it's because he goes gate to wire. If Treason doesn't get to go gate to wire, if he gets pressured, I think Golden Glider is the horse that's going to be coming from way off of it to get him down. The layoff is a little concerning, but he's got several strong works on the page, and I don't know. This horse has always had talent. He's always had some modicum of talent. It feels like at Woodbine it could fit, and he showed synthetic that he liked it last out.
Yeah, even you go back to like the Sam F. Davis there, Classic Causeway won at a big price, and then comes back, runs decent in the Tampa Bay Derby, kind of runs through everything, runs second in the Peter Pan to We the People, who was one of those horses that was supposed to be amazing, and then runs the Belmont, and then we just don't see him for a long time after the curling there at Saratoga. I just couldn't get to it off the layoff. Cassie's firing at 20% as a trainer up there, but he's only 11% off this type of layoff. Generally, he's not like the best off a long layoff trainer, and for me, it's just I think the horse needs to improve too much to be able to beat someone like Treason in this spot. I went with the 7 Carruthers, had back-to-back wins over the synthetic here at Woodbine, and then ran into Treason in the Eclipse. I thought still ran pretty well in that race, was fanned pretty wide around the second turn in that spot. I think the extra distance shouldn't be an issue here. You got oh, Jesus. We have Mushwish on top with Arch on the bottom. So I think the distance is going to be strong here. We know he likes the synthetic, 7 for 12 over it. So I think it's all systems go here for Carruthers. Now, the wins were at Gulfstream, and that was the first effort over the Woodbine synthetic. So it'll be interesting to see if we can improve off that second over the Woodbine synthetic. But I like the 7 Carruthers. And then I'm going to go back to another bomb here. Give me the 3-horse Gaston as the big price here, 20-1. This is Kevin Attard who's sending it out. Emma Jean Wilson again riding this one. I know we need to improve big time here. You need to take a big time step forward. But if you're going to, this is kind of the spot you do it. This is going to be second off the layoff, stretching out to that 1.125 distance, hard spun out of a Galileo mare. Again, the distance should be a good thing for this horse. Won the first time out as a 4-year-old. And Kevin Attard's not one who goes crazy with placing horses. And the fact that he wants to send this one out here, I think is a good sign. It's also an X-Men Racing Madacat stable horse. So they think highly of it if they're putting it in this spot, and you're getting 20-1. So I'm going to take a little bit of a shot here with the 3-horse Gaston.
Yeah, that last part made me really sit here and go, shit, man, I kind of like this horse at 20-1. I didn't pull the trigger, obviously, but you made all great points. The connections are a big part of that as well. So look out for the 3 Gaston. Emma Jane Wilson riding for a charge, 32% winners in the last year. So good numbers as well there for the 3-horse Gaston. It really does feel to me like the 6 is going to go gate to wire, but if he doesn't, there are some horses. You can make cases for a lot of big price horses.
I looked at the 1 too, War Bomber. Did you look at War Bomber at all?
Interesting one. I think this horse is great for underneath if you need a big price underneath, but I don't think he's good enough to win this race.
Probably going to be your leader for quite a while, though. I mean, that's your horse that I think is going to go right to the front. I guess Treason may go and try and like clear over, but I'm interested to see how fast they go early and if it's War Bomber or Treason that's going to be in the lead.
Let's move on, Mike. Penultimate leg of the Woodbine Late Pick 5 on Saturday, July 1st. Race 10, the Grade 2 Nassau Stakes for 9 fillies and mares. 4 and up, going a 1-turn mile on the outer turf here. My old friend Moira, the 4-horse, she's back in here at Woodbine. Last time out, returned from 210 days off, and she still lost. It was a good effort there. Where'd you go on top here?
I went with Moira. I mean, to me, she would be the single in this field if I was going to get aggressive and try and single. She looks like she's better than this field. You should expect her to be a little bit better second time off. I think she's a better grass horse than she is synthetic horse. If she is able to take a step forward, she's going to be really tough in this spot.
Yep, my top pick as well. And she's just so classy. I mean, she was a neck away from winning a Grade 1 over the turf here. As a 3-year-old facing a super sharp older horse for Chad Brown and Rogier, a Breeders' Cup winning year for the filly mare turf, where she did not run poorly. She ran 5th as a 3-year-old against some of the best female turf horses in the world. So very impressive effort from her there. I'd love to see her do well in this spot. I looked at this and I was trying to figure out, how does Moira lose? Like, what is it that could do her in this spot? And I came to the conclusion is if somebody just says, F it, I'm going hard right from the gate, right from the rail to try and take them gate to wire. I use the 1 Sister Luann at 20-1 here. Listen, Lone Speed, Safi's your trainer. You know there's one set of instructions, and that is to go. Why would you send her here for this spot? Other than you just got to try and go gate to wire, going a mile here. Both career wins for this horse came doing exactly that. One of those was in the stakes at Gulfstream Park. Horse is second off the layoff, second time at age 4, nearly beat Keeneland Allowance horses, which when you take Moira out of this, suddenly we're looking a lot closer to more like a Keeneland high-level allowance or ungraded stakes than we are with Moira in this spot. So 20-1 is a huge number. I'd be surprised actually if we do get 20-1 on her because she's 5-2, 4-1 in her last 2 starts. If she gets loose, it's not a guarantee, but if she gets loose from that rail and goes early, I think she's gone.
It's interesting. We took a very similar way to try and beat Moira. I went to the 7 Sweet Enough with a very similar thought that she either makes the lead or sits right behind the 1. And if she sits right behind the 1, I think she gets by the 1. And then it's whether or not Moira runs her down. If she makes the lead, I think she's got a shot going gate to wire. They're clearly the 2 fastest horses in this race. One of these 2 will have the lead. And so it's just a question of, okay, who makes it? And then if it is the one who beats the 7 to the punch, can the 7 get by here around the turn? And if so, then Moira tries to run her down. And that to me is the key here. It's who makes the lead. I guess the 3 Scottish Star could be forwardly placed as well, but I would expect it's going to be the 1 or the 7. And if we can just get that horse rolling early, maybe we can get a price and get around Moira in this spot.
Doesn't it just feel like Pletcher's going to tell Raylu on the 3 Scottish Star to take back a little bit and not get into a pace? And she did win, to her credit. You know, it was a turf allowance at Saratoga, her first turf try in her career, and she sat off of a pace. But it was also a pace she was 10 lengths behind the leader at one point in second, so it clearly just completely melted down for her to win.
Yeah, and you also look at the last 2 races. She went 48 to the half in both of those. You're not going 48 to the half and being in the lead here, right? So I'm not sure she has that type of speed. And if the 1 goes and the 7 crosses over, all of a sudden Scottish Star is 3rd at best, right? Yeah. And so that's kind of the picture in my head, that the 1 and the 7 are faster than she is, and all of a sudden she kind of gets forced back into 3rd.
We're a race late and $1 short, Shadi. I'm sorry, but she had a great song about Gaston who was in the previous race. So if you're not watching the YouTube replay or live, this is why you should be watching. I'm not going to sing it. I've done enough singing this year on the YouTube channel for everybody's enjoyment, I believe. But a very nice, I appreciate that, Shari. That was pretty great. All right, Mike, fifth and final leg of the Woodbine Late Pick 5 on Saturday, July 1st. Race 11 has 11 maiden fillies and mares, 3-and-up plus, and also eligible routing 7.5 furlongs on that inner turf, while in for $10,000 tags. Oh boy, we go from 4 straight graded stakes to this.
I am still pissed off that all 5 graded stakes aren't in a pick 5. Can we figure out why that didn't happen? Because there was a graded stakes 2 races before this pick 5 starts that they just could have put at the end. It could have just had 5. Like, that was the whole point of going to Woodbine and doing this, is that we get 5 really good races and we end up with a freaking Naira race here to end this. Give me the 4 tender situation on top. Mark Casse dropping big time. There's a lot of bad horses who love to lose in this race. So I'm gonna go with a horse that has early tactical speed. Man, is equipped badly, but has early tactical speed. Is trained by the top trainer over the circuit. Has a very good jockey and is dropping pretty aggressively in class. So 40K optional claimers, 50K optional second time out. We're going all the way down to the 10,000. I think the 4 makes the lead. I have no idea how long the 4 holds on to that lead. But at least I'm going to have a horse who's going to be forwardly placed and in the situation that she has never been in here in this spot.
If I hit the all button in this, he got all 11 horses, it'd still be just a $52.80 ticket. I'm starting to think maybe that was the right move, because I opened the form back up and I just went, ugh, I hate this race. Your top pick I don't hate. Was my second choice, almost my top pick here. It feels like the appropriate drop first time versus claimers. And you got to like that we're trying 2 turns for the first time while taking that class drop. And when you see how the horse ran forwardly placed early and then just didn't kick on when going 1 turn, sometimes, Mike, that can mean the horse is, sometimes it means the horse is bad and just doesn't like to run. Sometimes it means the horse wants to go 2 turns and doesn't have that sprinter kind of kick. Like 5.5 at 1 turn might have been way too short for this horse.
Mm-hmm. No, I think you're going to go a lot slower if you want to be forwardly placed than you had to in the last 2 races. I don't see many horses that are going 46-2 in this spot early, so I think you're going to have a much more tepid pace. That hopefully makes it easier for tender situation here. Second pick for me was right to the outside, Grand Bella. This horse off the claim has been running well, going 6 furlongs. We're stretching out to the 7.5. Look, there's just not a lot I like in this race. So I'm going to take a little swing here. I go back to your South African jockey there, Munger, see if he can get the job done for LeBlanc. The last race is good enough to win this if we can recreate it. That was from the 10 post on the outside. Should be able to sit close to the pace, but not on it, and be able to get a kick home. So I'll take the 5 Grand Bella in second here.
Yeah, interesting that Munger has never ridden for the barn before, but does ride through the claim after that horse had that, you clearly can say, the career best effort. First time hitting the board last time out. So didn't use the horse. I thought that I didn't see enough in this horse to want to play her at 4-1. But again, you can hit the all button and it'll still be just a $52 ticket. So I don't really, it's hard to make a case for any of these horses, so I'm not going to sit here and poo-poo everything that you do. We agreed on 3 of the horses that you went 4 deep, I went 5 deep. So we'll talk about my top pick next. Number 7, PS Rising Star at 3-1. I think, is the favorite on the morning line here. 3 races back, you saw that she took a step forward as a 4-year-old. 2 races back, you saw that she improved upon the first effort off the bench. It wasn't a fluke. Okay, she actually has improved. As a 4-year-old last time out, tried her on turf for the first time, another step forward. So you're seeing these steps forward, very slow incremental steps at this level. Returns the same setup with a tag that's 5K smaller than last time. I think this horse is a must use on your tickets. It should be on your tickets somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, this is, we'll call this a find your friends horse, where eventually she'll win when she finds her friends, because she's going to run between a 45 and a 50 buyer, and eventually that's good enough to beat a field. She may have found her friends today. I mean, that's really how simple this is here with the 7 horse, who has shown the ability to be forwardly placed, has shown the ability to sit off and pass horses. Obviously not all of the horses, but at least pass a couple of them. Second time turf should be a positive here as well. So I use the 7 PS Rising Star too. Another one we both used, which I almost made my top pick in here, was the 2 horse Candy Wine. This horse was bet down heavily last time. So it was the favorite at $3.55 in a 10 horse field. And ran a little bit early, didn't run much late. But now you're getting a much better price, 10-1 here. This was a huge drop last time. So went from maiden special weight to 40K maiden claimers all the way down to 15. Now we're dropping into 10. They're adding blinkers. We'll see what happens there. But this is a barn that's 24% on turf. So, yes, just one for the 10 for year, but has done well on turf over the last 5 years, essentially six for 21 there. So, Candy Wine, one for me that I'm going to use here that I think at 10 to 1 is a horse that you definitely want to include.
Sorry, there's a big gnat that just flew right in front of my face. I like this horse a lot. One thing that really caught my attention is that the horse was bet down, like you said, to 7-2 favoritism for the first time trying turf, first time in for a tag. And if you watch the replay, the horse just had a shit trip, such a horrible trip. You never got to see what the horse could do at 7-2, so it's a scratch-off race. We're back at the exact same setup, almost the exact same post. And now we're 10 to 1. I was like that.
Dropping in level.
That and dropping $5,000 off the claiming tag. Thank you. It's like, but what how? Okay. Like, even if I didn't like the horse from those synthetic races, I look at that and go, what has changed? What has made this horse go from 7-2 to 10 to 1? Other than the jockey stayed, and you can go, well, the jockey screwed up with the ride last time out.
Well, and the thing here too is like at this level, inconsistency is consistent, right? You're constantly seeing these horses go up and down and up and down, and so if the horse was good enough to be 7-2 last time out, there's no reason this horse should be 10 to 1. And obviously, we could get bet down on race day, but
that's
to me,
true.
like this is just one that you kind of almost auto use in this spot because you're like, hey. The public believed enough that this horse was going to run last time. And those synthetic races, if she ran back to those two races, she's right in it with this group and nags, right? So, like, I don't see why you don't use the 2 here. Take your swing.
Last two for me that I'll talk about. I went with the rail horse Hard Rock Warrior at 6 to 1, and I watched her turf replay specifically. I feel like she's got the talent to win at this level. Another horse that, this is like her friends. She hasn't gotten great rides, and I think that's why you see she's still 6 to 1, even though with the effort she had at the 15K maiden claiming level last time out. But in that, Daisuke Fukumoto kind of did his best Rosario impression. She was starting to move in the turn, and he drove her straight up into two horses that were slowing down, and it didn't work like it doesn't work when Rosario does it. So we're getting a jockey change to Moreno, who was aboard for her last start at this exact level and setup. She has been racing against higher. A slight worry that she's almost becoming, because she's been spotted in some poor spots before, that she might be a career maiden before she ever gets the job done. She's over 13 now, but from what I've seen, it seems like she's got more talent than she's shown, and she's third start off the layoff, third start at age 4, so maybe she takes a step forward.
Maybe she does. I mean, these are horses that are just tough for me to use. I mean, not just the 0 for 13 lifetime, but only 2/3. And comes from the clouds, like never is in it and then draws the rail, right? It's like this is the perfect setup for her to fail. And then on top of that, Jason Marco, 0 for 7 for the year. You go back and you're like, oh, well, this horse is claimed off Trombetta. And all the races that it ran well were prior to the layoff. And since the layoff with the new trainer, 2 of the worst races on the page for the one horse. And so I'm just like, oh, I can't, especially at 6 to 1, I can't get behind this horse being able to just all of a sudden have the switch flip and be able to pass 8 other horses down the lane.
As they say, she's due. Next one, the other one I used, the number 11 Rookie Court at 10 to 1. I was at one point, I was like, who in this mix of just interesting horses, I'm sure they're all beautiful horses, which one of these beautiful horses is going to be the early leader? Because maybe that's the one I want to use. And I was kind of between the 9 and the 11, and I landed on the 11. The 9's coming off of a long layoff and has some nice works on the page, but for the level, but a long layoff and adding blinkers, I don't know that you can trust that this horse is going to go right to the lead, and so that was a little bit of a concern. You got a 5% jockey going to be riding the 9 horse. You got Daisuke Fukumoto, who is much better riding the 11, getting a better price. I think what happens with the 9 is what happened with the 11 last time, which was she was kind of pressed the early pace and then faded and was, multiple lengths behind the winner. If anyone can go gate to wire, when a lot of these horses don't like to pass each other, I'm going to take the 11 that I know is going to be forwardly placed and be kind of on the muscle trying to get going. I mean, she tried doing it the last time she was on turf, and that was arguably her best effort, which isn't really saying a whole lot.
Yeah, I don't hate the idea of using the 9 or 11. I
just wanted a speed horse. Give me a speed horse.
I'm hoping the 4 is the speed horse. We'll see if that actually plays out. And that's kind of why I did not use the 9 or 11. But these are both pretty bad horses, even when they get the lead. That was my other issue here with both the 9 and the 11. Back to Magic's point, not a bad race to hit the all button if you want to try and go shorter early. But this is going to be a spread race for a lot of people. So trying to narrow it down as much as possible is probably a positive thing here. The 7.5 furlongs from those posts as speed horses also a little bit of a concern because
that's true.
Like it is not easy to get. There's 2 turf courses at Woodbine. We are going 2 turns 7.5, and you can go 1 turn 7.5 there as well. We're doing the 2 turn version, and there's not a lot of room into that first turn, and you break it from the 9 and 11 post respectively here.
Before we move on real quick, Dr. Tang going for it says, might as well get a 21 to go and give me a long shot. Some like it hot. The 6 horse here did almost win 2 back, set the pace, and then faded to be second, beaten 3 lengths, making the turf debut here and the routing debut. If she wins, it would be Scott Martin's first career win as a trainer. So Dr. Tang going for the Cinderella story. I didn't really have much interest in this horse, though.
This is a classic Dr. Tang horse, though. Top jock, small barn. He goes there all the time with these big prices. And it works a lot of times. I'm not knocking it, but it is a classic Dr. Tang horse where it's like, hey, why is Hernandez riding that horse? I will include him on my ticket.
I just like the way you said it. This is a classic Dr. Tang horse. I was like, damn, shot fired.
It's not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying it's a classic Dr. Tang horse here. He loves those top jockey, small barn angles. So like, when John Velasquez wins at 18-1 on an absolute donkey at Belmont, he's like, I had it because he's never ridden for the barn before. And like that's the explanation for it.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Magic Mike Show. Thanks for joining Mike and I to go through Woodbine Saturday's late pick 5, Saturday, July 1st. We'll give out our tickets one last time for the audio listeners. If you're watching on YouTube, take a look down below. Remember, this is a 20-cent base for the tickets at Woodbine. I'm going to start with 358. 24, 56, 14, 124, 711 for $24. If you hit the all button in the last leg, it's $52.40. Mr. Somich.
I'm going to go with 1, 3, 5, 9, 10 with 2, 4, 8, with 3, 6, 7, with 4, 7, with 2, 4, 5, 7. It'll cost you $54 for 20 cents.
Doc says, thanks for the compliment.
Again, not knocking it. Just saying it's a classic Doc horse. That's all. You know what I'm going to take. You'd say, hey, that's a classic Somich horse sometimes.
Usually when someone says no offense, they mean take offense.
Well, that was a different one. Not like no offense, Magic, but your hair looks like shit. That is a no offense one. That's a shot, right? Okay, that was not a no offense one.
Ouch. Anyway, over at racingdudes.com, you can see here on the screen. We've got the Breeders' Cup winning. You're in for the Classic, the Stephen Foster Stakes, which I forgot is now a Grade 1 race. And that's now at Ellis Park. That was part of the deal. We'll make it a Grade 1, but you have to take it away from Horse Killer Downs. So they moved it over here to Ellis Park. You also have the Fleur de Lis Stakes. Moray, a horse that I used to own through my racehorse, then they decided to sell her, and suddenly she's a Grade 1 winner. She shows up in the Fleur de Lis, which is not officially a win and urine for the distaff, but in years past has been, and you'll likely see at least a couple of those horses come out of that one and try to go to the distaff. So previews for that, preview for the Dwyer, Fort Bragg after scratching out of the Woody Stevens. He's back, a much easier spot. And if you want to know more about the Belmont Park late pick 5 on Saturday, which includes the Dwyer Stakes, you can check out Dudes Who Bet Sports, 148. They're going to be live here as soon as Mike and I get off. They'll be live at 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. So lots of content for you over at racingdudes.com, including the Mike Somich-led Dudes Who Bet Daily.
Should we just talk for the next hour and 15 minutes, just so Aaron knows how it feels when you're waiting to jump on and there's another show that's going live?
Poor Aaron. I feel like Blinkers Off just ended right before we went live too. But yeah, check them out too. Ellis had a big slate of stakes action, so they did picks for all of the big stakes at Ellis as well as Belmont Park on Blinkers Off.
And golf clap to Aaron. He had the winner today in the race of the day. The 5 horse ended up winning. Did you have the 5 too? I think you might have.
Yes.
It went 5-9-4, so it was all the horses we talked about, but the 5 ended up getting the win.
Ellis Park. Well, now let me pull it up. I'll go take a look because I'm curious to see. It was which one? Race 7?
Race 8.
Race 8. There it was.
Saez.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep. I like She's Looking Lucky because of the speed and go with Saez.
You like the 5. Aaron liked the 6. That's right. And I was 4. And then we both liked the 9.
Listen, Aaron, one of these days he'll learn. You bet Chad Brown when Florent Giroux was riding. You're not looking so lucky, my friend.
Chad Brown on dirt, pretty much been not wonderful for a while.
It makes you kind of wonder, like, how good really is Goodnight Olive?
Right?
She's doing what she does on dirt for Chad Brown. You're like, damn, imagine if she was with, like if you had her with Mott or Pletcher.
Makes you wonder.
You had her with Baffer, she'd be breaking Gameen's records, man.
Or just broken.
Shotty, sorry. The Dudes Who Bet Sports starts. I thought it started in. I thought they were going right after us. Let me double check. Am I wrong on that one? You don't know.
Great content here. No, I have no idea.
Oh, he moved it. It's going to be an hour and 15 minutes. He did move it. Okay. It was supposed to originally be right after us. So, yeah.
I'm so mad at the Diamondbacks and the Rays right now. They're not going to
Why?
They're not going to go over 10, and it's really going to piss me off.
Well, anyways, aside from that,
they're mid-8 now, and it was 6. They had 6 runs into the first 2 innings, and they're not going to. They're at 7. Unbelievable. Anyway, go ahead.
Check out Dudes Who Bet Daily every Wednesday through Sunday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. You can get our best bets from the sports and horse racing worlds. Lots of fun had every morning. We always not. By the way, my undercashed. Boom. Yeah. I'll take it. I can't believe the Royals beat the Guardians, but hey, it doesn't matter. The undercash, that's what really mattered. We're back on track over there, so please join us. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at Curtis Kalleward. He's at Somobomb 18, number 1, number 8. Corporate Overlords at Racing_Dudes. If you aren't yet subscribed to youtube.com/RacingDudes, we had a new show debut last night. Dudes After Dark is officially a thing. Nick Sievers, Nick Feldman, and Dr. Tang were live covering Canterbury Park's Pick 5. They'll be doing this sporadically, but the goal is for them to be covering night racing. So if you're looking to do a little nighttime DGen action, Mike, I know as soon as Texas stops being so Texas-y and you can start playing Lone Star and Sam Houston at nights on Fridays, like you're just going to be all over Dudes After Dark.
I shed a tear this morning when I looked at the carryovers, and there is $510 in the Lone Star Pick 5 carryover tonight. They had $800 bet into the late Pick 5 yesterday.
Damn.
Yeah. Remember when we did the live show when Sam Houston opened, and they got $170,000 bet into that pool that night? And now they're $800 a night.
What did you say the carryover was for tonight?
$510.
I think that's like what the average Magic Mike Show listener played that opening night.
Yeah.
Was $510.
I mean, it's just ridiculous how it has gone from like literally up here, and now it's just irrelevant.
That's a shame. Anyways, we'll get out of here. Thanks for sticking with us this long. We'll be back Friday and all through the weekend for Dudes Who Bet Daily. Please join us. And again, make sure you subscribe to youtube.com/RacingDudes so you can check out. You never miss any of the content. You can check it all out. youtube.com/RacingDudes and RacingDudes.com. Until next time, I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
Good luck with your bets.
The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.